Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be talking about the 5Pay today. Before I get started, I want to say, remember, if you're a new rep, follow your manual. It's about getting the value high. The value of Cutco has to be high enough in their head versus what the price in their head is, right? So you got to understand what that means. You've got to build the value points, all the value points of why Cutco is great, why it's better than that junky knife drawer, and knowing the numbers, right? Your trainer, whoever your manager is, probably read a manual during their training, right? Just like we're telling you to read a manual, they should be reading a manual because they want to make sure they're teaching you the right way. Now, again, you have a recommendation binder. If you don't have your recommendation binder yet and you're already watching this video, it means you probably launched from training. Get a recommendation binder. It's very important. This is mine. As you can see, sponsor sheet, because if they give me 10, they get my sponsor. Give me 20, get a double sponsor. But everyone got their own page. So do all the demos you do they get their own page? Do they get it right on the front and the back? Right? All these are their own pages. When I sold Cutco, guys, I sold over $100,000 literally from demos when I was first getting started before I even got into management because I had my recommendation binder. I knew my recommendation approach, right? So yeah, I was doing the demo. I was cutting the pennies. I was cutting tons of food, always 5 pieces of food. And I used this blue book a lot, right? And so I was using this blue book because we didn't have the virtual demo yet. But I always had my recommendation binder because the recommendation binder is what keeps you going, right? So you got to know how to pull that out and say, hey, Miss Jones, there's one more really important part. As I said earlier, I get pages to show Cutco, but I can only show the people I've been personally recommended to. So what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up, because there's a lot of food cut up here, is just jot down 100, 150 people. No, I'm just kidding. 10 to 15 would be fine. They don't have to be people you think would buy. There's people nice enough like yourself. So here you get your own page. So here's a pen, here's a paper. Let me start cleaning up, okay? Now, before they start to say no or I don't know anybody, I always say, hey, Miss Jones, who's the most successful person you know? Oh, write them down. I love successful people. Hey, Miss Jones, do you know anyone with a Ferrari? Oh, you don't? Me neither. I would love to meet with someone one day. But hey, do you know anyone with a Mercedes or BMW? Cool. I love those cars. Can you write that down? Awesome. And hey, Miss Jones, I forgot to tell you, you can cheat on this test. You can actually use your phone. So I'm going to clean up. All right, just go ahead and fill it out and let them start filling it out. If I was not getting leads, I would never be here today, guys. It was very important that I learned my leads approach. So that's more important than learning this 5Pay because the manager can technically help you. But I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how to properly do the 5Pay. Screen, you can see this is the manual. So this is literally the manual. This is what you guys should be reading. If you're not reading this, you're missing out. So you get here and you say, hey, the great thing, it doesn't cost $4,000. In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as the Wusthof sales price of $2,000 plus, right? The Homemaker Plus 8 set is only $1,838 with taxes, paid in full, which includes shipping. But most of our customers take advantage of our 5-month interest-free easy pay option, which is literally only $367 a day. But we have a buy now bonus. So if you buy now, I can give you the entire kitchen tool set, the entertainer pack with that 4 popular gadgets, or the super shares for free. So out of the free stuff, which one would you get? And then there they might pick one. They might say, oh, how much is it? He said, Mr. Jones, I'm asking, if you were to buy it and you got something for free, which one of these would you get for free? And then I get them to pick one for free. And I say, awesome. Well, Mr. Jones, I would be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Would you like to try it out for a couple weeks, risk-free, because it's guaranteed forever. And there's even their money-back guarantee. And you can get the free super shears or kitchen tools, right? Or I picked the one that they said, right? They usually will say no, right? They're not going to say yes there. But rewind this. Are you saying this part the right way? Are you saying it like I just did? Are you slowing down? After you say prices, do you stop by accident? Because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to keep going. You like buy now bonus. Think ShamWow, right? You got to be like, but we have a buy now bonus. You really need to make sure they understand. Like, yo, I'm charging, yeah, $367 a month, but you're gonna get $400 of free stuff, right? So they have to understand that. So you got to make sure you're moving quick there. If you're not, that's the first like rookie mistake is you're just saying the prices and stopping, right? Don't want to do that. Say the prices. This is the first time they're hearing prices of Cutco. So when you say that, you want to say, hey, by the way, if you're paying this price, you're going to get free stuff, right? Now, if they say no, especially when you're new, I was doing this even at 70,000 in sales. I was calling my manager still because there's like a psychological advantage to that. The manager giving the discount seems better than me just doing it right there on paper. I'll show you how to do it on paper right here, but calling your manager doesn't suck. Also, when I called my manager, sometimes there was like some corporate discounts for certain sets, or he helped me upsell. So there was a lot of benefits to calling my manager outside of just getting the discount on the Homemaker, right? But I called and I said, hey, no problem. I completely understand. Since I'm just getting started or since I'm new, or I say, hey, since I'm in my first year, is it okay to call my manager to verify my appointment because I have to? And they usually will say yes. And you say, great. Hey, I'm here at my demo. They like the Homemaker, but it was just too much money, right? And then the manager, what they'll say, right? And so now look at the left side. And if you look at the screen, you're going to see this is what it says, okay? Most managers will say this, write this down. You really want to have a pen and paper, right? So actually have pen, paper, have that in your blue book. I always like just keep a blank sheet of printer paper. Then you always have a pen, right? And you pull out the printer paper and you write it down. You say, hey, the homemaker plus A, right? You just write this first. So homemaker plus A equals 1838. Totally get it. That's a lot of money right now, right? Again, you can get it though for 367. So what it should look like when you first write this down is this is above this part, and I'm saying it's 1838, but remember there's a 5 pay option, so it's literally only, and I put the number there, 367.62, right? And I say, but what my manager just said I can do is and then I scratch it out, and then it would look like this. And I hit all these points. I say, Miss Jones, for you today, since I'm newer, and I want to help you guys get Cutco, and it also helps me. So it's a win-win because I get to help. I'm in my fast start, or I'm competing for this competition, or whatever it may be. You're trying to get a sale too. You already know. So it's a win-win situation. We're gonna take a manager's discount and do a 287.08. That's all it is for the 5 pay, right? You're gonna get a $400 savings, 20% discount. You'll still get free cutting boards, free shipping, and guaranteed forever. So literally, if anything ever happens, you just send it back and get a new one for free. And this is where I always would flip back to the book, right? So I always flip back to the book to that one part of this page because this is what keeps Cutco in business. The reality is, sure, $2,000 sounds like a lot, but Mrs. Jones, you're spending 4,000 to 5,000 plus probably on knives before you leave the earth because 20, 40, 60, while it feels like a discount, it adds up. And the average American cooks from 30 to 80. That's 50 years of replacing crappy knives that you're never really enjoying, and it costs you about $4,000. So this is like a 50% off deal, but you actually get like the Rolls Royce of Cutco pieces, right? Like the Rolls Royce in the kitchen, right? So this is a very big deal. So I wanted to again hit on that, make sure you understood that, Mrs. Jones. And then even when that happens, you'll still get, right? You'll still get no, and that's okay. But you get a good no. A good no beats a bad no, right? A bad no is like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. That's too much for nice. They need to understand this is like the luxury of kitchen cutlery, right? Like this is the best of the best, but it's not like a luxury watch or anything. Like all my luxury watches do is tell time, right? Like, yeah, it's much more of a flex than it is like a necessity. Kitchen knives are much more of a necessity, right? Like you're going to use them every single day. And so if you're not hitting these points of value, if you're not rewinding this and watching how I said this part, and again, it's Miss Jones, today, what my manager will do to help you and to also help me, so it's a win-win situation, is put the line through it. We're not going to charge 367. It's literally 287.08 with a manager's discount. That's a $400 saving. It's almost over a 20% discount. You get free cutting boards. You get free shipping, and it's also guaranteed forever. And we have our money back guarantee, so you can try it out for a whole month. If you don't like it, just return it. But at least you get to try the product. And they're like, I don't know, 287 is just a little too much. No problem. So again, that's where I flip it over, and now I'm going back to this way. And on this manual, I'm going back down. And I pass this page because it kind of did this with your manager. That's why we always say call, but you did this with your manager. And then I'm going to the galley set. I'm hitting all the galley numbers. Some people will get the galley, some people won't. But a lot of people make a living off of just selling these galleys because they did a really good job at presenting prices and building value for when they asked on the first ask with the homemaker. So their second ask usually is a sale. Now, if you're a new rep, you're usually going to sell one of these. Like these pop off like crazy because we understand the famous line. I would pause this and rewind this to this part and watch it over and over and over until you can say it, because you already know when you cut the penny with the scissors, they ask you how much that is. And you got to say, hold on, prices are at the end, right? And then when you say the homemaker prices, they're always going to be saying, can I just buy pieces? Because they're interested in helping you, but they don't want to pay for a full homemaker. You stand your ground. You still keep on going down the sets until you get to individual pieces by saying the famous line. Yes, you totally can, but it's much better value to get a set. With a set, you get the right tool for the right job. You get a serious discount. I can hook you up with some free stuff, and it's a lot safer having the world's finest in a nice block or kitchen or the kitchen tray, right, that goes into the drawer. So Mr. and Mrs. Jones, yes, you totally can, but it's much better value to get a set. So what would you rather do, right? So just pause it, go back to it. Again, they ask you, hey, can I just get pieces? Yes, you totally can, but it's much better value to get a set because of the set. You get the right tool for the right job, a serious discount. Write those two things down. I can hook you up with some free stuff, and it's a lot safer because you get it in a blocker tray and you have the money line. So, what would you rather do? You got to pause, rewind that part, like learn that line because that's what keeps you going to the sets. And that's what's going to get you here, right? Where you'll be able to actually present the prices. And look, 123, like $123. People that are married over 40 on a home that are going to spend about $4,000 to $5,000 on knives on their current trajectory. And you're saying, hey, Miss Jones, I'll get you a set that literally covers what you need to do in the kitchen now. And maybe you can upgrade later, but all you have to spend right now is 123 on a credit card. Try it out. And if you like it, continue payments. There's only 4 more left, but it's only 123. Like, come on, right? Like, this is much more like, oh, I could do that now. Because you get them hooked up here. Like, they actually consider the homemaker because of how you wrote it down. And when I'm doing the galley, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm writing galley plus 6 equals, and I'm writing the number out. Galley basic equals, and I'm writing their 5 pays. So that when I get to the starter sets, these starter sets, it's like, oh, 165, oh, 153. Like you're under the $200 threshold, which is probably what they spend at, the grocery store every single week. And you're saying, hey, this is just monthly. It saves you money, right? And hopefully, I don't have time to hit on all that, but when you went to your actual food cutting, you're cutting 5 pieces of food. There's parts that say saver. These are money savers. You need to know, how does a petite carver save the money? How does a butcher knife save the money? How does a slicer save the money, right? The savers have like the pictures and training where, the slicer, the whole lettuce heads versus the pre-cut lettuce bags. Hopefully your manager hit on that. It is in their manual when they train you. So if you don't know the ways that each knife saves the person money, get with your manager. That's very important because you got to talk about that, because when you get to those starter sets, guys, you're below that $200 threshold, and most people have a $200 plus limit on their credit card, and they can actually try it out, right? So this is where you'll make a living. You'll definitely sell a lot of these. And I just want to remind you, 123 times 5 with my handy dandy calculator, that's $600. If you sold 2 of these, you would hit your first promotion if you were just starting. If you were at Dirty 30 and you just did 5 demos a week and sold 2 basic studios, you'd be making over $300. Do the math, like $1,000 times 0.30, assuming you're at your 30%. You do 5 demos, 2 of them, at least buy a basic studio, you're making over $300 that week for 5 demos would be about 7 hours of work, right? 2 hours of phone time. Guys, like 7 hours, like where do you go work for 7 hours and make $300? Like that's the power of getting paid on value versus time. So again, yes, it takes a little bit to learn how to do this. You've got to learn how to present the prices. You got to learn how to cut food in your demos. You got to learn how to build value. But if you do it, man, that's a pretty cool reward is as you're going through college or, growing through your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or you're on the show team or whatever you're doing, right? The benefit of just, hey, I can work like 5 to 7 demos and guarantee as long as I do the demos the right way, I'm going to make probably over $300. And a lot of you guys are better than that. You're going to sell more than that, right? You already know. Do the math. That's why a lot of our CSPs are able to make over $100,000 a year selling Cutco, right? But again, it comes down to, 1, take the job seriously, right? Like, yeah, it's selling knives. Your friend said it was a scam. Your mom's like, you're crazy. Who sells knives and makes money, right? And I get it. But there's a lot of people doing it and having a lot of success. So you have to get around the right environment of just learning and educating yourself on, okay, how do I sell properly, right? Am I building value over price? Am I presenting prices at the end? Or am I just giving the prices when they ask for it, right? Because you already know, you cut the penny. They're like, oh, how much is that? If you're saying the prices, it's like you taking your shoes off right before you started the marathon. You're like, I'm going to go run a marathon barefoot. Don't do that, right? There's a way to do this. Just like if you're at McDonald's making fries, there's the right way and wrong way to make the fries. Do this the right way and let it pay you forward, right? Be smart about the business and the business will take care of you.